welcome back to another video. This one is a tutorial on these roses, the stencil roses and the blooming gel roses. So I'm gonna jump right in. It's one of my practice tips, pink tacked onto a cuticle pusher. This design I wanted to show you with the greatest contrast first. So I'm just putting on a black gel base coat that looks really sheer, and actually the Wow Bow black gel isn't sheer at all. I'm just really tight with my gel when I do designs, so I've really scraped it off because it's just a display tip. Anyway, a little bit back there. So this is lipstick, which is just gel polish. You can get this in acrylic as well. It's a really nice bright red, and I'm just using the liner brush to pop on these shapes which will form the rose. It's slightly out of focus, and I do apologise for that. I filmed this before I realised that you can't actually have stuff in the background because my camera is clearly has got issues and wants to look at the wrong stuff. I'm fine with that, I get it. I look at sparkly stuff and shiny stuff instead of what I'm meant to be doing as well. So there you go. So to create these roses, I'm kind of just letting you watch this one, and I've done it really bold to show you the principle. You really just start off with a blob in the middle and turn it into a little swirl, which is your rosebud, and then you work around the edges with a blob, and then you pull each side of the blob out to make the petal edge. I overlap these so that they are kind of going round in a spiral, but actually when you look at real roses and real flowers in nature, there's no particular rhyme or reason. Well, I mean, some of them are like pretty symmetrical and cool, so I guess there is. I mean, yeah, what I'm saying is don't make them look symmetrical and perfect because or just throw gel polish on your tip because you weren't really looking what you were doing. I've left that in just, you know, because we all do it. So yeah, I've done my little swirl there, and then where the swirl has an opening, I've popped a blob, and then I'm pulling the blob into pointy edges, and that kind of just makes a petal effect for a rose. And then at the end of that petal where it's pointy, I've popped on another blob. So you'll see that I'm going to pull this out into a bit more of a point to meet the other one. Always leave a gap. My gaps in these, I noticed when I was editing the video, I haven't left very big gaps between the petals, so you can see the black through, but actually for a beginner, perhaps leave bigger gaps, because if those two petals bleed into each other, it just becomes a big blob. So when you start off, perhaps leave a slightly bigger gap between the colours and the petals, just until you're more confident. I'm curing each of these in between, just flash curing, just because I'm really clumsy. As you could see, when I lobbed red paint on the end of the tip, I would probably just ruin everything if I didn't flash cure in between. You don't have to, and actually it's based on your style, but it works better for me just to do that, so that's why I'm going off screen. So a little one at the bottom here, and I'm just working on the same principles. When you're working off the edges of the nails, you have to imagine where those bits would come up and kind of just make it up as you go along. But once you do a few of these, you get used to it, and actually they're really, really simple, but you can make them as intricate as you like, or as big as you want, or as small as you want. This bit here, I'm just showing you Never Enough, which is like a chunky silver glitter in gel polish, and again you can get it in acrylic. I've got it in acrylic and I love it. Love it. I'm just adding a bit of interest onto the nail. I don't show you all of it, and at the beginning and the end I think you can see all the finished design, but it's just kind of showing you a way to tie the designs together so they're not kind of just floating roses. But I kind of made this up as I went along and I wasn't overly happy with it, so don't always follow my tutorials completely. There you go. So I've kind of made some sort of winding vine and just done the corners in glitter. But anyway, is what it is. It's more about the roses. So I've just pink tacked another tip on. I don't know why I'm showing you faffing. All my videos have faffing. I think that's off-white. And then base coat. And I'm going to mix them together to make like a more sheer white. Like what I wanted for the base of this nail is a frosted kind of white glass effect. It's just a cheapy gel brush. Any gel brush will do. And it's based on a set of nails that I did that were white with the white roses on, and that's where pretty much everybody asked me to do the rose tutorial from. So I thought if I show you how I did that nail, then it would be like a dual purpose. So there you go, ideal really. Just showing you how to paint a nail with gel, because obviously you've come here not knowing how to do that. So enjoy my faffing. There you go, sheer, and you can see the pink tack through it. That's how sheer it is. And then I'm going to put a layer of matte top coat on. Now with the black one I didn't put matte on, and anybody that watches my tutorials or lives or anything like that will know that I like to hand paint on top of matte. It just for me is a bit more of a solid base in that the gel doesn't tend to move as much, but it is a personal preference. This nail is going to be matte when it finishes anyway, so it doesn't really make any difference. But even if you do matte coats in between and then you eventually top coat in shiny, then it doesn't really make any difference. So for me it's just a base to work off of, which I prefer. There you go. So I'm taking the liner brush again and some super white. We now, since I've made this video and edited it, we have started selling, or Wow should I say, have started selling gel liners. So they come in little 5mm pots of really highly pigmented gel, and the lid, when you unscrew the lid, is actually comes with a really fine brush attached to it. And the video before this one is me reviewing those, and I have done roses with those liners as well. Although it wasn't a tutorial, it was much more of an unboxing, unveiling and a product review. There is some footage of me doing these roses. They're called stencil roses, or I was taught they were called stencil roses. Whether that's what they were called or whether my educator was making it up, I don't know. But that's what I call them anyway, stencil roses. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm saying now at this point. So I'm flash curing those in between. I really like working with those gel liners that have just come out. They are super easy, and it means that I don't have to get brushes and palettes and stuff out, which is pretty cool, pretty quick, time efficient, and I kind of, it's a break from having to use brushes and then having to clean the brushes and all that sort of malarkey anyway. But good old paintbrush or liner brush or whatever works an absolute treat. So I'm just going on and doing more and more of these, more in the style of the nail that I did, that everybody asked how to do. So you can see that the base does look a bit like a white frosted glass. I'm just going back and pulling some more of these edges out, adding some extra petals, and also I'm going to add some little fancy like leaf shapes in, and some dots and swirls I think and stuff, just to add a bit more interest. So I've cured that. I think I gave that a full cure so that actually if I went wrong with the other stuff I could wipe it off and it wouldn't be an issue, which is another really good reason to flash cure or fully cure, or do whatever you like really. Who am I? I'm not your mother. I say that to my kids as well. They're going to be traumatized. Anyway, so I'm doing just some really basic leaf shapes. I don't know if this is the shape of actual rose leaves those, I don't know. Okay, I can't even blame it on it being early because it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I should stop doing voiceovers and just let you watch the video, really, because you'll probably learn more. No dog today, no slopping, no barking. He's been taken on the school run as a punishment. Poor little dog. Poor little Frank. Although we don't call him Frank, we call him Frank. That's a little sausage dog. One of my videos, I will put a picture up of him so you can all see the absolute pain in the arse dog that just makes noise through every single one of my videos. So there you go. Right, add in some leaves, add in some dots. We all like dots. I don't know why dots are such a good, like, they're a really satisfying gap filler. And it's, they're just easy. So, I'm going to pop some of those in. Don't know why I've left dots in real time. It's a rose tutorial, Lee, so you should have sped this up. Get on with it, girl. And I'm faffing. Oh, look at that. Little swirly whirly. Little swirly whirly there. Swirly whirly. Oh, nice. Nice. Get in focus. Like it. I think I'm going to drag that up a bit. Yep, beautiful. Lovely. Turn it round. And the thing is, on the tips and stuff, you can turn them round, but you can tell your client to turn their hands around. So imagine that they put their hand palm up in front of you and then tip the fingers up so the nail is kind of the other way around. So you can do this on clients, and also obviously depending on whether you're right or left-handed depends on which way round things are easier for you, but you adapt and you work around it, and if you don't do that then find another way. So here is the finished effect, I think, coming up with the matte top coat, and it was really hard to get contrast and to get it in focus here because I've got a white background, which was, with hindsight, probably a bit silly, but the black background you can't see the white because it makes it too bright because of the lamp and all the rest of it. Anyway, technical difficulties. So we're going with Forget Me Not on the next tip, which is a lush blue colour, really, really pretty, like I feel like it's a really spring colour, really springy. And Say I Do, which is a really pretty glitter, and it's suspended in clear, so there's no colour to it, it's just little bits of glitter. Again, you can get it in acrylic as well, but it's just suspended in clear, so all you get is the pieces of glitter. You can use this as like a glitter and then top coat it, so like a glitter top coat effect as well. And then I've got the slightly chunkier glitter, and I've done kind of a one-sided swoosh, kind of, I don't know, just kind of, again, I was just making this up as I was going along, really. And then I'm matte top coating it again, because actually, firstly, I'm going to paint on it. I'm going to paint roses, hence the tutorial name. And secondly, I really like the matte glitter effect, especially on like frosty, glittery nails. So that's Girly, which is a really lush pink. Like it. And those pinks and pale blues go together really well. And Aquarium is that really cute green colour, which I'm going to do some leafies in. And I'm using the 9mm brush again. I don't know why I keep showing you this. It's because I recorded it in bits and pieces, probably between making dinner for the kids or something crazy. But yeah, I felt the need that I had to just keep showing you everything I was using as if you didn't know. So I'm hoping that I've sped this up, because I'm hoping you've kind of got the point. This is really just to show you the versatility of these roses, and that it doesn't have to just be a white rose on a black background, or red rose or whatever, and actually you can create loads of different kind of build up pictures with these roses or styles. And you know, I really love the red on the black. I didn't really like the silver weird thing that I did, but you know, this is what this sort of practice is all about, and I thought, yeah, that's going to look amazing. Then I did it and I thought, no, I don't like that. But somebody will probably like it. You know, what you don't like, other people will. And putting stuff up on your board gives people inspirations. If anybody's got like inspiration boards, or when they do practice sets of nails, they put them up somewhere in the salon so clients can see them or whatever. Anyway, so these will all just go up somewhere for someone to see. I've grabbed Love Letter, which is this nice vivid pink. It's a bit deeper than it seems on the camera, or is it? I don't know. Oh look, it's a little moth. Hello mothy. Or it's some kind of bug. I don't know what it is. I thought it was a moth, but then it jumped. I don't know. Anybody know? Answers in the comments. Let me know what that was. Hopefully nothing sinister, but it was only chilling on my glove. Yeah, so I grabbed Love Letter just to add some different pinks in, and I'm going to do some more roses, but all different shades, or maybe just those two shades. I can't really remember. I think just those two. So I'm starting off with my little squiggle in the middle, which I always think looks a bit like a prawn, and then a blob. It's the same pattern. If you look at my roses, it's always the same pattern. So you have the little swirl in the middle, and then when the swirl is open, I do the blob and then pull the edges round, and then start from the openings doing the blobs and pulling the edges out. And it's a repeating pattern. It's quite easy to remember, and once you get the hang of it, you can just repeat those and just tilt the angles slightly. So what I'm doing here is just doing a blob and then pulling that out so it looks like a little petals falling off. And again, it's just other stuff on the nail to create a little bit of interest, if that's what you're interested in. I don't know what this petal's doing up here. It's a rogue petal. So there you go. It's a bit of like a Cath Kidston kind of design. I think that's the kind of feels that it gives me. And I'm going to use the aquarium colour to just do some little leafy bits again on here. So much the same as the white design, but we'll yeah, just add those in. Knock the camera as I go. Make them stand out a little bit. You can go around some of these with white or black or dark green, just to highlight or low light, or pull a bit of shadow over them and make them stand out a little bit more. But actually I kind of just like them as they were, so I've left them like that. Added a little bit of greenery in there off the edge of the nail, and so yeah, just letting you watch that little bit there, and adding little bits and pieces in around, adding some green dots as well, as little gap fillers, just to create a bit more of a pattern and a patterned edge. Get that into focus, and you can see that there's some nice little bits of glitter underneath as the base that we've done, and I'm going to top coat it as well, just to show you how beautiful that looks. So pretty. So really lovely design there, something a bit different, a bit girly, which I really like. bit springy, like I said. I do love a spring set. So this one I'm going to go in with a super white base, and I've done 2 thin coats, and I'm going to use lipstick again, which is that bright red. So I've gone for these colours not for any other reason other than the fact that they're just pure contrast and it's really good for you to see. I'm going to use a layer of the base coat as a blooming gel. So these is the right, okay, start that again. This is the tutorial bit for the blooming gel roses. So I'm just putting a thin layer of base coat on there as a blooming gel. You don't want it too runny because you're going to need to work and paint these petals in quick. But the thicker your base gel as a blooming is, the more it will run and go out of shape. So you're going to follow the same principle as the stencil roses. So the swirl in the middle and those. You don't have to be anywhere near as precise with this. You literally just chuck it on, look. It's almost a bit more abstract. So you do a little bit of a blob, pull it round, get a little bit there, pull it round. Okay, and pull that one around a little bit too. And then just going to go in and do another little swirl. Start where that is, round and round. And you see, actually, it's really messy. And if it wasn't blooming, then it wouldn't really look that great. But what we get is this dissipated blooming effect with the colour, which is really beautiful. And you can see on that bottom one where you get the shades of colour. And I've started a bit too low down on this rose and it ends up just being a bit of a mess. So, yep, learn from my mistakes, guys. Start higher up or leave it. Should have left it. So I'm waiting for them to bloom, but as you can see, you get that where it bleeds out in colour. It gives you all those depths of tones. They separate with the blooming gel, so they don't completely go together. So I'm curing that, as you can see, and probably curing half the gel on the palette as well. So I'm using cherry, which is a deeper red, and super white. And what I'm attempting to do here, which you really don't need to do, and I should have just left this as it was, but I cannot leave things alone, which you may be able to tell by now, is I was trying to layer up the depth of colour and I end up ruining it, I think, anyway. So just going to show you there. I'm adding another layer of base coat on as blooming gel. Blooming gel. Anyway. And using this cherry, which is a much deeper colour. And what I'm trying to do, if you see, is like pick out the dark bits of the petals. So I'm going to go around here, look, and totally ruin all of that really fine, intricate, beautiful work that I did. But it is trial and error. And again, this is why we have these little practice sessions, because it is trial and error. And, you know, it is what it is. But I do wish that I had left it alone, because it did look better. You can see that bottom rose, that's not a rose, that's just a blob. Not ideal. And I'm trying to make it look better by pulling it around, and it's not going to look better. So I'm now mixing some of the lipstick with the white to make a much paler pink, reddy pink, rather than just putting white on there, because the problem is with the white, you're just going to blend it into the background, which was already white. So I'm going in with base coat again as a blooming gel, and I'm just using this to pick out some of the highlights, going really thin on them. I think I knew by this point that I didn't like it, so I was just trying to add stuff on to make it look better than I thought it did, and it wasn't going to happen. So, and look at me putting some halo around it. Yeah, it's nothing's salvaging that, honestly. Yeah, look at me showing the camera. So the thing is, I do mess these up, and I do always show the bits that I mess up as well, because it's really normal to have a play and have some inspiration and it not to come out anything like what you thought. And that's where sometimes creativity is, it gets frustrating, but it's also born from. So I know where to go next time and what to do differently. I put a matte top coat over the top of that and made it all sort of frosty, and it did make it look a little bit better, I must admit. I reckon if you did some black detailing over the top of that, it would probably look fine. Anyway, so I'm going to move swiftly on to the next one. We're going to use this base coat blooming gel technique, Sweet Lust, which is a really nice pink with a very subtle hint of purple, I think, in that one. Like, it's more of a purpley pink than a pink. That makes sense to you? Probably not. And I'm just going to blob it on, and I'm going to let it like spread out. You should really wipe your brush off, because it will have base coat in it rather than putting it back in the bowl, which is what I've done because I am a terrible person. So there you go, that's just going to bleed out a little bit and look really lush. Going to cure that, and we're going to go back in with top coat as blooming gel, and then I'm going to add some colour onto that, which is lipstick. Obviously I had lipstick out for this video and just wanted to use it in everything, so clearly that's what happened there. But it is a really nice colour, so there you go. And we're going to have a little bit of contrast. I'm going to let that bloom out, which is what that gap in the editing was. And then what we're doing now, going in with base coat again. And going in with cherry. Okay, so we're using the same colours as the last one, just in a different way. And it's like a graduation of colour, like I did in a previous video. We've got the white as a base, the pink, and then it fades back into the pale, not pale, the red, and then the dark red. And then I'm kind of, I don't know really why I'm sort of faffing. I'm going to put some on the other side, I think, and yeah, don't know. I really like to just have a play, have an idea of what I want to do, but then just make it up as I go along. And actually, before I became a nail tech, I was an artist. I'm still an artist. But for me, this is just creativity, and this is just allowing yourself to be arty and have a bit of fun with colour and pushing the products to see what they can do. So that's like the end result of those layers. This is a bit of spider gel, which is just an off-brand gold spider gel. I'm giving that a little bit of a mix. And I'm going to go and do some lines in gold, because I thought actually that gold would look really striking on top of that red, especially the cherry red. And I do love red and gold together. There's something really special about it, like visually striking, I think. I'm going to do a little bit down the end as well. I like spider gel. It's so messy. If anyone's got any techniques to use in spider gel where it's not just like mental, then let me know. So there you go, I've done that. I'm going to cure it, and then we're going to go in with some black. And I totally messed this up, so I'm going to show you all the ways that I messed it up and how I put it. I think I've left them in, pretty sure. And then how I put it right as well. So basically I'm going to do a black blooming gel rose on top of it. But the mistake that I've made is not using enough gel, and then it doesn't bloom and it just looks like a blob, and I get really frustrated about it as well. Thing is, with when you do black blooming gel stuff, you need to really get it on there, because otherwise it just all kind of dissipates and it looks very smoky and a bit wishy-washy and stuff. So you really need to, you know, maybe, so you see I've just buggered off. I've not even like cut this bit out. I think, yeah, I've just been wiping that off. Right, let's try that again. And I do it again and I still don't like it, I think. So the other problem is that it was a really uneven texture where I'd put the spider gel on, and what would have been better would be to put a coat of base gel on, cure it on top to even those surfaces out a bit, because where I'm trying to drag this along the surface, where it's going bumpy over the top of that spider gel, it's not really sitting right, or it's running in the wrong places as well. See, I'm just trying to go over and over and over it, and actually it's just going to make it look awful, and I'm pretty sure I just wipe all this off in a minute, because what is that? That doesn't even look like anything. I'm trying so hard. I'm just like, it will work, it will work. I will make this look like something, but it doesn't look like anything. Crazy. Get off. Let's start again. Right, so I've put a bit more gel on, black gel, and I'm going to load the brush up a bit more, and I'm going to be a bit more crazy with it. Right, let's go, let's go, let's do it. I think I'm psyching myself up for it at this point. See how much more gel there is on the brush this time. That's the one. Right, big blobs. Pull it out. Pull that around. Much better. Pull that around. You can see where it's going wobbly over the spider gel. So yeah, probably would have been best to even that out first. So learn from my mistakes, please, rather than making them yourself. Loads better. Loads better. Still not ideal, so without putting any blooming gel or anything on it at all, I am just going in and adding a bit more like detail to these. I'm sort of stretching those edges out, and that's the thing, you can do blooming gel roses, but there is nothing to stop you going back in and tidying those little edges up, going over that spider gel a little bit, or sharpening the points and making them a bit more substantial around the edges. And actually sometimes the blooming effect doesn't really work, especially like I said with this black, because as soon as it starts to bloom, it basically just goes smoky and grey. So I've just added some extra bits in there. You can still see some of the bloom as well, but even if you don't leave any of that, it's still giving you the outline to then go in and shape some of that stuff back up. I'm still going to say that's in shot, even though you can see the rest of it. Right, there we go. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know, I might faff a bit more, I might not, who can say. I think I'm pretty happy with that as it goes, and that actually I think is quite a nice effect. Yeah, there we go. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And I'm going to top coat that as well, make it all shiny. Pretty. I really like that. I really like that one. I'm really pleased with how it came out, and I'm glad that I persevered. I was actually going to just pull that one out of the video, but actually that's turned out to be one of my favourites, and that's it cured. So yeah, layering out techniques I really advise. They just look lovely when you do them all together. Right, so that one's a bit of a mix of a bloom and a stencil. I hope that you found this video helpful and encouraging. If you have got any questions about any of the techniques, or if you've got anything that you specifically want to see me do, then let me know. If you're fed up of me talking, let me know and I'll find some better backing tracks and maybe just do some subtitles. If there's anything you prefer to see, like watch me work stuff, or tutorials or unboxing or whatever, then also let me know. That's it really. I'm thankful that you have all sat through this long, and hopefully it's been of some sort of help to somebody. I've certainly enjoyed it. And until next time, I will see you later. Make sure to give me a like and a subscribe. Bye.